Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have some huge news and a full-on liberal meltdown when it comes to what happened today with Donald Trump. You can see breaking, the Supreme Court has sided with Trump, ruling that presidents cannot be held criminally liable for official actions of government and delivering a nuke to Jack Smith's January 6th indictment in a 6-3 victory. Obviously, the Supreme Court is conservative, leans conservative, and liberals have completely lost it. It's very important to understand. Well, number one, a lot of these people have come out now and they say the polls are terrible. Biden just had a horrible debate. This news has come out. A lot of them have come out and said, let's just kill him. So they want to assassinate Trump. It's all the influencers saying it. And these are the same people that love democracy. We have to make sure Trump can't win for democracy. Yet they're the ones, and this is total gaslighting, they're the ones upping misdemeanor charges to felonies, 34 counts. Even Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of the state that did it, liberal, coming out saying it's ridiculous. The only reason it happened was because Trump. And now they're losing every poll. They have the horrible debate. We're seeing them talk about replacing Biden. They don't know who with because there's really no great options right now. They've pigeonholed themselves with having Kamala as their VP, and they get this ruling, and these people are not mentally well. They're lashing out, and they're just saying, screw it. If Trump can get away with this, let's just kill him. So that's what they've said, and obviously it's a total false narrative. But no, you know what? I agree. I think Trump pressuring Mike Pence to not certify is the same thing as assassinating the president. It's totally the same thing. And by the way, Pence doesn't even have that ability to not certify. It has to be agreed upon. Both the House of Representatives and the Senate agree upon it per state. And that's really how it happens. It's a more symbolic thing for Pence to certify the election. But they never mention that because it's all fear-mongering. It's like, oh my God, what if it didn't happen? What if Pence actually listened to Trump? It would all go to the Supreme Court. We have guardrails to where there cannot be a dictatorship. Like this whole thing where it's like they seriously think that Trump could have somehow created a dictatorship where he remained in power. That's what they think legitimately. They completely ignore the Constitution or anything like that. And the Supreme Court is just saying Trump needs to be able to act, and you can't just prosecute him because he's the president and it's political leverage and an advantage. So that's what they're saying. And this whole thing goes back to January 6th. I've talked about it. You have to understand a lot of these liberals, they're all atheists. They need something to worship. They literally worship January 6th. It's their Super Bowl. They love it. And all I'm saying is my question to many of these liberals, is January 6th worse than Nagasaki? Is it worse than World War II? Is it worse than 9/11? And is January 6th the worst event in history? I seriously want to know because it's super bad. They've gotten so triggered now because of this ruling siding with Trump. And even CNN admits it's a major victory for Trump. These people worship January 6th. They love it. The committee meeting, what a kangaroo committee that is. They met primetime hours because they wanted more viewers, and they're like aroused by January 6th. Nancy Pelosi actually embarrassed them when the GOP released that video where it's Pelosi in the car saying, where was the police presence? This is ridiculous. And you've got the committee reviewing no police presence. And then Tucker Carlson embarrassed them when he got all that footage of all the protesters entering the Capitol being guided in. It was totally peaceful. They cut out all the peaceful parts during the committee hearings. And then they said, oh, the parts that we didn't show was because, it was national security. It's all bullshit. They cut them out because that made them look bad and their case look weak. They wanted to make it as bad as possible. So they only included the rioting parts where they bashed in the windows and things like that. And all the violence, they didn't include any of the peaceful parts. And that's why Tucker Carlson released that on Fox News before he was let go. So this is huge stuff, and they're just lashing out. They realize, they see the writing on the wall, and now they're getting so desperate. It's literally a liberal catfight right now. You've got Gretchen Whitmer entering it, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but apparently she's this, boss bitch who's just come in and said, everyone out, I'm the candidate now. You've got Jill still there. You've got Kamala. You've got Michelle. They're having a political catfight, and it's a total mess. And you've got Barack, who's just embarrassed by all of it, saying, we really don't have a candidate here. So maybe it will end up being Michelle, but now there's weird things with Gretchen Whitmer, and we will get to it. You do have New Mexico, a general election poll. So this is a Republican pollster, an internal poll, so I'm guessing a Trump poll. Biden +2 in New Mexico. I think right now we're starting to see the swing. Minnesota is leaning to Trump because remember, this has been stages. Originally, we were looking at all these different swing states, Nevada, Arizona. It's been reported Nevada, Arizona, they're leaning Trump by 4 or 5 points. They're actually moving out of the swing state range. Georgia is as well. And then we thought, well, the next steps would be, and the next states for Trump would be Minnesota and also Virginia. And now with the bad debate performance, multiple polls coming out saying Trump's up by 4 or 5 in the general, you're thinking that Trump's probably leading both Minnesota and Virginia, and New Mexico now is the next state, and then after that it's probably New Jersey, and then after that it's probably New York and Oregon, which had a poll that was very close. It wasn't reputable, but I'm just saying Trump is really trying. He's looking at like 450 electoral votes. I'm not kidding. That's how bad it is for them. That's why they're lashing out and they're saying, you know what, we're not going to beat him, just kill him. So this is really bad. It's an extreme threat, and this is what they do. They gaslight. They say we love democracy, but if we're going to lose and we don't get our way, we'll just kill you. It is horrible for the country. So here it is. They're already doing polls. Donald Trump, Gretchen Whitmer, Trump up by 2. I would say it's very hard to really say if this poll, the data is good or bad considering barely anyone knows Whitmer. There is some incentive. I just think there's no way. There's no way they can put her in. I know she's the governor of Michigan. There's a big incentive around that, maybe helping with the Rust Belt. She did not handle COVID well. She was one of those liberals on a power trip. They wanted to shut everything down. They wouldn't admit once it came out that, listen, it's not killing people under the age of 55. You got to open everything. Just like Gavin Newsom, they couldn't admit it. They didn't react fast enough, and they ended up killing small businesses because of it. That's why Trump handled COVID so well. He shut everything down. He said, let's see what this does. The Chinese are not giving us good numbers. We'll see if it kills young people. It could be a big problem. Then the numbers came out and Trump opened everything up. He left the decision to the states. That's exactly how you should handle it. And then they lashed out and said, Trump's killing people. Well, what do you want us to do? Do we just turtle up like China and go through deflation? Because that was their original strategy. If liberals had power in March of 2020, they would have went zero COVID for sure. For sure. The president would have used all his executive orders, whether it was Biden or whoever, if Hillary had won, and there would be a significant stringent lockdown. It would be very strict on the states. It would be from the president, and it would be very hard for these states to act and really open everything back up. They wanted the zero COVID, or maybe they didn't and they were just gaslighting Trump. It's like no matter what Trump did during COVID, it was wrong. If you lock everything down, the economy goes to shit. They blame you for having a bad economy and everyone loses their jobs. If he opens everything up, you're killing people. So what do you want him to do? Now, it's an interesting poll. It's a hypothetical. A lot of people don't even know this woman, let's be honest. And I don't think she can beat Trump. It's one of those things where, she's obviously going to be more likable than Trump just because Trump's so polarizing and nobody knows her. But this is just a really early poll. And here we go. We've got the liberals coming out. So if Joe Biden declared today that November's election is canceled and ordered the military to keep him in power, that would be an official act. Well, no, it wouldn't. You just answered the question. I strongly encourage Biden to take advantage of his absolute immunity, which he has been lawfully granted by Trump's Supreme Court justices, to do whatever official acts he needs to in order to prevent Trump from becoming president. Again, you're telling on yourself during the tweet. You're insinuating that Biden would be rigging the election and not doing official acts. That's the whole point of the ruling. They were official acts when Trump asked Biden not to certify it. Again, that wouldn't have mattered anyways, but they don't say that because they want to seem as bad as possible. Like, oh, Trump's going to be a dictator. Do you not know how the U.S. Constitution works, or are you just being dumb to try and scare people? I think it's number 2. But you can see Supreme Court gave Biden unequivocal immunity in order to use the military to take action against Trump today, right now. Are you insinuating to go, take a bunch of tanks and just bulldoze Mar-a-Lago? It's kind of weird, like use the military. What does that mean? Are you going to deploy the military to Trump's house? But it's just all crap. These people, they know they're going to lose, so they're lashing out badly. And this is just another bad thing. I was looking at even liberal sites saying it's been like 5 straight horrible days for liberals. They're coping, and now they're lashing out on X. We've got Gretchen Whitmer saying privately, telling senior Democrats that she believes Biden can no longer win Michigan. So she's just come out, and I think she wants to be the person that replaces Biden, and they can kind of swing it with Kamala because she is a woman as well. So we will have to see what happens, but she said that Biden's going to lose Michigan, which is insinuating he's going to lose the election. If he loses Michigan, it's going to be very hard. He would have to, possibly get Georgia, which technically he won in 2020, but you'd also have to get the two other Rust Belt states. There's a very small margin of error, and also like a state like Nevada. So she's come out and said, according to Politico, basically that Biden can't win. We need to do something radical. I think she really is hungry for power. And obviously, Jill is hungry as well, and Kamala doesn't want to leave. And so you've got a full-blown liberal catfight within that party. I mean, it's just a total mess at this point. We do have another post-national poll here. This is post-debate, New York Post coming out, saying Trump is up by 7 over Biden, a +4 shift. Doesn't surprise me at all. You could say, well, New York Post, is not the best pollster, but still, this is what I expected to happen. A lot of these independent people, it's not just going to be them switching from Biden to Trump. They'll just switch to RFK. A lot of them don't like Trump, but now they see how bad Biden is and they can't vote for Biden in good conscience because they know he's a vegetable. And they know Jill is kind of running things, and it's it's horrible for democracy. You're voting for someone you know is not actually doing anything within the White House because he can't speak. That's the issue, and a lot of these independents are seeing it, they're realizing it, and I think Kennedy is going to be a big pain for Biden if Biden is the official nominee, because a lot of these people are going to be like, I can't justify voting for Trump, but I also can't now justify voting for Biden because it's such a charade. So Kennedy is kind of a legitimate option now, third party. It's not like a Jill Stein situation where he's only getting 1 or 2%. He's getting 8-9% in terms of the national polls. So he's a legitimate third party option. He's the biggest third party option we've had in like over 20 years. How about this? Biden job approval, 29%. It just keeps going down. And by the way, you can say Patriot polling, oh, this is a Republican pollster. I mean, they only had Trump +3 in a post-debate poll. I don't think that's crazy bias. But maybe these numbers are erroneous. I don't know. But that is crazy, 29%. His net approval right now, 538. It's like 36, 37%. It's going down every day. And you've got more stuff on this Jill Biden Vogue cover that just dropped. This is so strange. If you want to know what power feels like, try to get yourself driven around in a motorcade. So she loves this power. She's talking about it. She's basically bragging to all of us that, she wants this job. She's the proxy to Biden. She's really running things. And she's coming out in Vogue even after people said, is she actually running things and doing this? She's isolating Biden. Biden can't talk to anyone right after the debate because Biden said my performance was terrible. Apparently he was embarrassed by it. That was reported by, I think, the New York Times. They came out and said that. So that's all come out now, and it seems like Biden really wants to drop out, but Jill has such a big influence, and also apparently Hunter Biden was like screaming at the top of his lungs at Camp David, to telling, his father to stay in the race. This is crazy stuff that's happening. So we will see what will happen, but Jill, it doesn't look like she really wants to give up power. Can Obama force it? Can Obama bring everyone together? Maybe they'll have a big meeting, and then they'll have the liberal party where it's like Biden has to step down. We want everyone there, Obama, all the top people, all the top leaders, because we need everyone to watch this. And then they put someone else in, or they say apparently what Obama wants. They will elect someone at the DNC, which makes better sense because it's seen more as democratic. And also it gets you a ton of eyeballs in, what is it, like the 11th or maybe the 15th, August 15th when it's happening. And then you've got all of September, all of October. But still, the problem with that is, depending on who they go with, there's the name recognition is a big issue. And it's also, your party is just so disheveled. So that's why people have said they really can't remove Biden. They'd have to use the 25th. They're stuck. And if they do remove Biden, it's such a bad look, they'll lose anyways. So they're going to try and keep Biden in, maybe make up some stuff against Trump. And do something like that. They're going to have to really get desperate, I think. We'll see. They might just go the whole route of, well, Biden was better in the second half of the debate. And then, if he does okay on September 10th, they can say, see, it was just a one-off night. That's the exact narrative they'll use if they want to keep Biden. But I do think there is a lot of people in the Democratic Party that it's been reported they feel gaslit. This is just ridiculous. The donors are giving money to Biden and he can't function. And they said that in a call. And the Biden campaign is like, no, he's fine. And they're like, what are you talking about? And that's what I was feeling when it came to these liberals saying it's all deep fakes. There's 5 clips a day of Biden, And then we finally have the debate, and I was totally vindicated. And I was not one of the conservatives that said, oh, Republicans are downplaying Biden's expectations too much, he'll overperform. I never said that. I thought he would suck, and he did. And they tried to, obviously manipulate and say Trump lied a lot. Well, yeah, it's a debate. They both lie. You could argue Biden lied more. They just had to try and cope and use something to drive a narrative that Biden was actually okay during the debate when he wasn't. So they said, well, Biden sucked, but Trump lied. No, they both lied. You can't do that. So, so people are talking about Gretchen Whitmer. I really don't understand it either. The only thing you could say is, I guess she's more likable than Trump only because people really don't know her. And, if you were going to elevate someone over Kamala, it would probably have to be a woman, just because if you do it with a white male, it's going to be a bad look for them in terms of optics. And you could also say, based on her location, governor of Michigan, although a lot of people in Michigan do not like her, she's most known by the American people for actually the kidnapping plot, the fake kidnapping plot. I'm going to be honest, but they would say, well, she's, Newsom has all this crap against him. He's from California. Whitmer can actually win the Rust Belt based on where she is and win Michigan because that's her home state. So they're going to try and swing it like that. I don't think they're going to choose her, but she's like the new boss bitch coming in saying, let me do this. Biden's completely done. He can't win my state. I'm coming in now, and that's what's going on. So Jill against her in a cat fight, that's crazy. And then Kamala comes in, and then Michelle comes in. I mean, this is just a crazy, crazy situation when it comes to what's going on with the Democrats. So that is the current situation. Trump gets a huge victory. Liberal sites admit it. CNN admits it. It's major. Trump was doing his job, and they tried prosecuting him for it because they hate Trump. And it's the same thing with the felony charges. I mean, you see, all these people are using coded language. They're like, he's a convicted felon, or they call him all this stuff like, oh, he's been impeached twice. I mean, listen, I do remember back in like 2017, I bet this little liberal kid, when I was still working a normie job, I said, listen, Trump's an angel. He's never going to be impeached. And we bet $100 on it. And then the Ukraine crap comes out. I think it was like 2019. They were waiting to try and impeach him. They saw a moment. They were toddlers because they hated Trump because he embarrassed Hillary. And it's like, oh, Trump was trying to get opposition research. Yeah, that's never happened before. Oh, wait, you've got Biden, his kid, literally taking money from Ukraine, leveraging the fact that Biden's the VP, and then Biden, the big guy, gets a cut. But that's fine. No, that's fine. Trump does anything. And then how about the second impeachment? They did it just out of spite when Trump was already leaving peacefully. They did it on like January 13th. Trump said, I'll leave, and they still tried to do the impeachment because they want it on the record that Trump's been impeached twice. There's only been 4 impeachments in U.S. history, and they wanted 2 of them to be Trump's. So when people look back on history, they say, wow, Trump's this terrible president. No, their children, they got embarrassed by Trump in 2016, and they had a vendetta against him, so they lashed out and impeached him twice. That's really what happened there. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.